What's up? What's happening? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers out there. Just coming with a quick video or stream. Maybe not so quick. I don't know. It's going how I feel. I'm gonna save probably the worst for last, but I don't know. It's not looking good for the traditionalists out there when it comes to Xbox's exclusivity, man. I don't know. I don't know, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. One thing that I do want to get into is talk about, and I'll talk about this first, is Interstellar, the Insomniac game, the Naughty Dog. I'll say Insomniac, the Naughty Dog game. It looked great. I thought it looked really, really, really good. Again, I'm not going to get into the grifter stuff because I've talked about that enough. But the look of the game, the style of the game, everything about the game, I thought it looked really, really cool. I liked the kind of like 80s, the Akira jacket look, like they got like that like kind of old anime vibe to it, or as we used to call it back in the days, Japanimation vibe. I don't know. It just looked good. I thought the characters looked great. The graphically it looked fantastic, stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really actually kind of happy that they're going away, that Naughty Dog is kind of getting away out of the Last of Us stuff, because I don't know. I mean, I never beat the first Last of Us because I just can't get past it for some reason. The second one, though, I thought it was really good, except for the fact of the ending. I hated the ending. I wanted some justification for Abby putting in that work. But other than that, I thought it was a good game. I wasn't mad when it won the Game of the Year. I thought Ghost of Tsushima should have won, in my opinion. I thought for a brand new IP to come out like that, I thought that was the better game. But other than that, I'm glad that they're getting into something else. I thought it looks good. I mean, that game probably ain't gonna come out until 2026, 2027 or something like that. But it looked good. It looked real good. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with you, the blue? What's happening with you, brother? My only thing is that it's like, well, there was somebody that I seen that was making a point about they weren't a fan of real-time actors and actresses, having taking over lead roles in the games. They kind of wanted to use the whole like imagination on their characters, and I never really thought about that. Like after when I was just listening to what dude was saying about that, and I was just kind of like, I mean, because we're at that point now to where video game realism is right there in your face. Is that I think that personally, I think it makes sense. Like, because there's stuff that they do that they alter with certain characters. I mean, it's just like with the Eve character, she is not built nothing like the character that is Eve in Stellar Blade. So, I mean, so there's things there. I mean, of course, like when you're looking at other characters out there, in other particular games, they may have similarities, but they still don't look fully like the actors or actresses. But I don't know. I thought I don't know what this crazy obsession with people having a problem with women with bald heads, but I don't know. I thought she looked good, and I thought just the character, everything about the game looked good. In my opinion, it'd be something to see what the combat is going to be like and things like that. So, I mean, that's to me is what the most important thing is, what the game is going to deliver. I think the game is going to give a pretty good story, but when you're going to mess with stuff like sci-fi, and I really enjoy sci-fi games, is the combat proper? Like, is she just all hands? She using weapons, all types of stuff. So, I mean, there's still more stuff that they're going to have to show within the game. I just thought that the game looked good. I mean, I didn't really want to get into a long, drawn out conversation about Intergalactic. I just thought that it looked good. And so I just wanted to get my parts on that. Now I want to get into something that's a little bit more, that I want to get into more detail about. And that is about the situation with Black Myth Wukong and betting on Sony. And of course they caught the L for it because now it seems like that there was information that came out that there was developers that was already writing the developers. What was it? Game Science, I think that's the name of the developer out there, and they wanted. They already wrote out their like winning speech, like I guess 2 years in advance. Once they made the deal, I guess with Sony or whatever. So it kind of puts a perspective about this whole exclusivity thing with and why Xbox doesn't have the game yet. But then Sony throws out Astrobot, and then they just kind of took it. Listen, I don't know. I would be pissed too if I was Game Science, if I was told some things. But again, mess around and you find out, because you just aren't going to know about the competition and what is going to be there. And to get screwed over by Sony is just something like, I mean, of course, as an Xbox guy, it's just typical. But it's like, well, if you did make a deal to keep that, to make sure that that game did not go anywhere else, but just stayed exclusively on PlayStation for that time, for that duration, for the Game Awards, so it wouldn't go to Xbox, and maybe Xbox may had a higher rating because the game may have performed better, because I know that it did not perform very well on the PlayStation. It had its hiccups in the beginning on the PC, and then there was a patch, and then everything was fine after that. Because that's where I played Wukong, was on the PC. So, but yeah, I mean, if you know what I'm saying, you sign your line, you sign your name on the dotted line with the devil, and you know what I'm saying, there's going to be a crazy outcome. So it is what it is. I don't think that it's to make a speech 2 years in advance is pretty wild, because I think that the games. I mean, I personally think that was my game of the year. That's nothing against Astrobot, because Astrobot is cool. But then there was somebody that made a really good point, and I forgot the name of who that person was when I was having a discussion about it last night. Is that Astrobot is cool, but it took all types of elements from the Nintendo games, and said those Nintendo games got overlooked and never was rewarded as being a Game of the Year candidate or even nominated. Like they may have won Family Game of the Year or something like that, but not winning the whole thing, which again, as I've seen it, because that was most likely a Nintendo fan. And listen, Nintendo fans, understand this. The gaming media, especially the Keighley Awards, is only really placated to satisfy Sony's needs, not anybody else's, unless the game is that spectacular or that overwhelming to get that much attention, like a Baldur's Gate 3, which is pretty wild. It didn't sell well on consoles that much, but it blew up on PC, but the game is spectacular. So again, I agreed with him, with what that person was saying, because I thought that really, in the sense, and it's funny because when PlayStation stands get all in their feelings about, when you say something about, oh, this game, I don't see how that game should have won Game of the Year or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or that game is getting overhyped or something. They'll say, oh, you're hurt, you're damaged. No, people just sees through the bullshit, right? Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you see a game like the competition, you had Black Myth, you had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you got Astrobot, you had, I forgot what else was up there. Oh yeah, and that's crazy for me to say that. Metaphor. Metaphor is a fantastic game. Metaphor is my second favorite game to win. Hellblade 2 was a game that I thought that should have been nominated, but of course, that wasn't going to happen. But I'm happy that they did win some awards. But I thought that it should have at least been nominated. But yeah, when you look at the competition of that, and then you don't see Nintendo games that's getting that same type of love throughout the VGAs, not so much in other awards like the BAFTA and stuff like that. It just comes to show that, like, listen, man, you can't take the VGAs when it comes to their awards really seriously, even though when sometimes they might get it right, like a game like Sekiro, or they got it right for other games. But you knew that the writing was on the wall the day that Overwatch won back in, like, what was it, 2014, 2015? something like that. And then it changed, and you've never seen, well, you might have had a multiplayer game, but it's still more story driven. You've never seen a multiplayer game like that win, or a live service game win like that ever again. Because and I thought that Overwatch the service, it was a phenomenon. So it's pretty crazy. So anyway, what are you saying? There's like Hellblade nom this year, but was nominated in 2017. Yeah, right. Again, that's what I'm saying. In Hellblade 2, that's a great point. And Hellblade 2 is a much better offering. I don't care what those stands say. They're ridiculous sometimes. They say some of the stupidest shit. And it just really crazy. Well, Hellblade 1 is much better. How? How? In what way? In what mental universe? Because it was exclusive. It was a timed exclusive for PlayStation. That's why. That's why. I mean, that's really only the true explanation. Some people say, "Well, the fighting was better." BS, garbage. You're lying. Stop frauding the public. Everything within Hellblade 2 was crazy 10 times better. Graphically, of course, combat, story. Everything within that game was so much, because boss battles. It was nuts. Yeah, Hellblade 2 was nuts. I loved it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love Ninja Theory. I loved the first game, when it was exclusive on PlayStation. So it did, and you're right, it got nominated, and then Hellblade 2 didn't get nominated. That's a slap in the face again. But that's what the other game was. Elden Ring's DLC, which is another joke. Like I said, you can't take the VGA's nomination seriously. It was just like what I was saying on GRG. If you haven't seen the last GRG, we had a long show, but it was fun. It was great. So you haven't seen it, but that was one thing I was pretty upset about, the fact with the sports thing. I've always had a problem with them adding racers with sports games, even though I know that like F1 could be labeled as a sports game. But I felt like there's enough racers out there that should get their due. And then you have the sports games. But to not have college football in the game in nomination. I wouldn't have tripped out if FC won. If soccer won, I'm going to trip out about that. But college football should have got nominated. It just didn't make any sense. Stuff like that just don't make any sense. And that's why for me, it's just like with Astrobot winning over Black Myth, it just don't make any sense to me. It doesn't. Not saying, and I'm not trying to take away from the game being fun. It is a fun, adorable game. I get that. I get it, right? But when you put it up to metaphor, you put it up to, come on, man. No. And then what tripped me out is that, what's going on with you, Husky? What's happening? He said, go watch the last, oh yeah, he's telling people, like, go watch the last GRG. And he sure, yeah, give it a like, man, appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel for Game Science because they fell for the rope-a-dope, because Sony sit there and probably sold them a bill of goods. But again, like I said, you agree with the devil. This is what you're going to get. Sony just does what Sony do. And some people just enjoy that, and other people see through the BS, but Game Science didn't, and they're upset about it. But look, you didn't win. You did win some other awards, but it's still, I thought that Wukong should have won. And what was crazy to me is that, like, last night I was having this discussion because I seen somebody that posted that broke all this detail down about the game was no good. It didn't work. Now, if he played on the PlayStation version was not a very good version, but the game itself was spectacular. And then there was like really silly ass, like, well, the game had a lot of walls. It's a linear game. It's not an open world game. The last level was the only open world aspect to it, but still, and then it was like that open world part, it was empty. It wasn't empty. There was secret bosses all over that place. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying, like, if you didn't like the game, just say you didn't like the game. And I'm not tripping about if a person liked it, if that individual liked the game or not, or anybody who didn't like it or whatever, because people trying to say, oh, it's mid, Stellar Blade is mid, Stellar Blade. But this guy was bringing the point of saying the Stellar Blade should have been up therefore it should have been nominated for Game of the Year. And if they wanted to do that, that's fine too. I mean, it got praise, of course. But no, there's to me, it's like when some people that don't like a certain game, they want you to feel as though they want people to feel shamed for liking a certain game that they didn't. And exactly when the breakdown of what the guy broke down about what he didn't like about Wukong, right? It was like I said, it was a lot of nitpicking shit. Like again, and the stuff wasn't even true. It was misinformation. Like that's the thing that me was like, listen, I understand if you didn't like the game. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Your opinion is your opinion, and I'm fine with that. But don't lie on the game. Don't fraud the public with bullshit. Because you're gonna say, well, the game had walls. Yeah, it's a linear game. I mean, God of War is a linear game. It has walls. You run into stuff. Almost every game you play, even open world games, when you go so far, you're going to have to turn back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of the things, like every game has a wall. So I thought that was a nitpick. Again, talking about the last level and it was open world and it was empty. That was a lie. Other aspects was like, the game was, you know, the game didn't have enough content to the, and I'm thinking of like, hold up. What did this dude play? Like, I'm just like, hold on. Like the one thing that I said about it, and you know, I don't do a lot of reviews, if any, but the one thing I said about Wukong, Black Myth, Wukong, was that it's very linear, but it's very dense. It's one of the most dense games that's linear that I played. Like even more like with God of War, there's secret passages, there's places you can go. There was places that was in Wukong like that, especially the third chapter. There was so much stuff in that game, bro. Like from treasure, outfits, secret bosses. Like there was so many secret bosses, and like again, like there was things that you needed to activate in one chapter, and you could go back into the other chapters and go fight a secret boss. Like especially like there was something you had to do in the second chapter, the third chapter or fourth chapter. And then you had to go all the way back to the first chapter and go fight this like electrical dragon. It was crazy. It was wild. And I was already really strong because I didn't know about it until like I just went through my notes, was like checking off some stuff, and I was like, oh, that's right. And then I went back and I'm like, hold on, go to this waterfall, walk through it, boom. There's a whole secret area right there. And there was so much stuff like that going on through Black Myth. So that's why I'm saying, like, how much did you play of this game? You know, you said you beat it, and that's fine. I'm not saying that you didn't. I'm saying though, did you just kind of rush through it because you wasn't a fan of the game? And that's a lot of people do that. So I mean, I'm a knucklehead. Like if I'm gonna go all through a game like that, I usually just stop the game if I'm not a fan of it and don't play it anymore. Or I'm going through that game like a fine tooth comb, not to get every achievement, but if I want to fight every boss, or I want to find every certain thing like this or that. Like I mean, as you see, like I'm my gameplay of Indiana Jones, I spent so much time looking for all other different stuff in Indiana Jones on that level in Giza than you know what I'm saying, than just going through and finishing, because I could have already been in the Himalayas and gone further, probably would have already beat the game. I spent so much time looking for all the extra stuff. That's just how I game. So again, all I'm saying is that if a person doesn't like a certain game, right, just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It should have been either Helldivers 2 or Black Myth. Listen, if Helldivers 2 won, but see, that's the thing. They don't. Like I said, after Overwatch, I know that like It Takes Two, but that's a different type of game. Like it's not like a live service game like Last of Us, or like, let's say, okay, so Marvel Rivals is really, really big right now, right? Like so. You'll see it being up there for maybe ongoing game or something like that. Hold on, it's starting to get hot in here. Damn. Okay, there we go. I have to move my thing. But Is it going to be up for game of the year? Absolutely not. And that's the thing to me is where that's why I say I just don't take the VGAs when it comes to nominations, period, at all. I'm there to see the announcements. You get curious about what's there and stuff like that. But no, after you've seen that, like a game like Hogwarts Legacy that should have been nominated, didn't get it, didn't get there, Jedi Survivor, or the first Star Wars Jedi game that came from that they got of the Tomb Raiders. There was so many games that gets left out for other games, and it's just kind of to me like, what? It just doesn't make any sense for a lot of things, but it's neither here nor there. But I do feel like the situation with Black Myth, listen, I thought that they should have won, but they didn't, and I'm not tripping about that they didn't win. I'm laughing at the fact that they lost because they bet on Sony to get them over the hump. And Sony was like, nah, man, we're going to sit there and make sure that we put Astrobot out there. And you know how the media placates behind, just runs behind Sony and anything that's. And so they were saying that was the best game ever. And it's like I said before, like what that guy said about, that game, Astrobot takes so much from all types of Nintendo games. And you don't see Nintendo get the same type of love or nominations for games like that. So it's they just win family game of the year or whatever. Let's see what Sekiro said. He said it should have been he just said that. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like Helldivers 2, if Helldivers 2 won, I would have been cool with that. If it didn't, it should have been nominated. The only two games, I should say the only a game that was labeled, that was put in the game of the year list that I have a problem with was Elden Ring. And I love Elden Ring. Haven't beat the DLC, but I beat Elden Ring. And it was definitely the game of the year that year, for sure. But DLC should not be, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And old games that gets remade and remastered, no, that should be its own category. Those games should not be placed in, because when they did that dumb shit last year, I was just like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Like it just don't make any sense. Now, again, I know that I'm complaining about the VGAs, but I thought the VGAs were enjoyable. So I thought that Keeley did a good job on it. I just get tired of seeing PlayStation always get the curtain call. Like, again, Interstellar, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks great. Like, I look forward to seeing more about the game. But that should have been the first game shown, not The Witcher 4. I think the Witcher 4 has earned that much. The Witcher franchise has earned that much respect from the gaming community and should be at the VGAs to be shown last. It's that big of a game. It's that serious. The game Witcher 3 sold 50 million copies. So I don't know. I'm not here to complain to. I said I'm not here to complain, but I am complaining. But again, that just blows my mind on that. But Black Myth Wukong, they should have known. And again, I look forward to seeing how Black Myth plays on the Xbox. It's a game that's really, 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 there's a lot of stuff going on within the game. So, especially, it's very demanding, graphically. So some people might say, well, that thing, that game, the game looks great. Like I for the very first AAA, Chinese game, that they did a fantastic job. I thought they did a fantastic job, man. The game was just, there was moments within the games that I played this year that they all had their wow moments, but Wukong had the biggest one. Like, that's why I felt like Wukong should have won. Out of all the games that I played this year, Wukong had the best moment for me, that I was like, it just blew me away. I could not believe that. I thought it was fantastic when you beat Li Lang, and when you beat Li Lang, he was like the secret boss or whatever. And that whole sequence when you fighting those gods, those entities, that shit was tough. I was like, bro, I was standing up playing it like and just enjoying the hell. Like, are you kidding me? Just so cool. So cool. So wild. Just loved it. So yeah, Husky was saying, he says, I agree with you on that. The Witcher 4 should have been. Yeah, no, and we talked about it on the GRG. Like, yeah, it just The Witcher deserves that. Like, I mean, it's The Witcher. It's The Witcher. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I mean, Interstellar should have been first, got everybody hyped for the show, right? Like, I mean, because it's a great showpiece to start off the show. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't say anything bad about what I seen from Interstellar. Like, I thought it looked fantastic, but how are you paying homage to a game like that when you got the Witcher 4 trailer and it's a long 6 minute, 7 minute trailer that just, man, oh my God. Like it was wild. It was wild. It's wild. It's wild how Keeley sit there and is all up in Sony's ass like that. It is very wild to me. The Witcher. What's going on with your Viper? What's up with your Rico? Said Gen X Gamer. What's up with you? You know what I'm saying? Guys, eyes under hoodie. So, so thank you guys for coming through. Let me go up here and read this. So far, I asked the question. So, on here. So if you have not, please let me know on this poll right here. Will Xbox keep any Xbox games exclusive? That's going to be the last thing that we talk about. Yeah, I mean, oof. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good look for that. But anyway, get to my last point on this with the whole Black Myth Wukong situation. I think the game is great. I can't wait for the sequel. Matter of fact, it's got a patch today. Um, it came out last night, or it drops today, and so yeah, I'll be going back through it. I was streaming my second playthrough. I'll get back to that. I was like on the second or third. I think maybe on the third chapter when I stopped, but yeah, get back on that. Yeah, because I was fighting that other tiger, that big ass, the brother of the tiger that you seen that was licking the blood. Yeah, he's a secret boss, and and that was crazy too, because the things that you do to get to the secret bosses, you have to find certain items, do certain things, and so anyway, that's where I stopped it at, because the brother did whoop my ass. Yet again, and I was my second playthrough. I'm stronger. I got all the weapons I need and everything else. He still tore my ass up. So I'll be getting back to doing that, and then I'm going to be streaming some Space Marines too, and that was odd to me too. Didn't see enough Space Marines 2 representation at the VGAs. I mean, I've only played. I think I got to the second chapter or something like that. But for what I played, like, my goodness, the game is very, very, very enjoyable. So, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so nitpicky. Like, shooters, they're very, very nitpicky. It's crazy to me that also that Call of Duty didn't win anything. What? Like, and going back to my last point with the whole VGAs. This is why I know that that you can't take it seriously. It's because the voters' choice, and Keeley said it himself, was unanimous. It was unanimous. Wukong won, but yet Astrobot won Game of the Year. Come on now, stop it. If it's unanimous, right, that the gamers' voice, that the people that voted for this particular game, and Astrobot was on that list as well, they unanimously picked Wukong. That's all you need to know. If the gamers I mean, that's what the Video Game Awards is about, is, so that you just got to put that out there. Did you beat the yellow long? That fight was fire. Yellow long, yes, yeah. Well, if you're thinking about the dude with the horns, where on the bug stage where all the spiders and all them bugs and shit, and then like you had to do a certain thing, and what's going on with your bounty? What's happening? What's happening? And you had to fight. He had that mask, and then you come to find out that he was like the was he the old sensei guy or something like that? I think he was, because you seen him at the end when you beat him. Yeah, no, he was dope. He was dope. If I'm thinking that's the same guy right there, he had on the green, and you take his powers, and he's got all electricity and shit. Yeah. That was a dope fight. Now I'm gonna tell you this: the yellow, the that damn boss at the end of chapter 3. He beat me so many times because I didn't know what to do, and then there was another like secret boss, because there was this pig, this damn pig creature guy that you had to sit there and you and it's optional, but if you go do the stuff that he asks you to do, you get up there and he takes you to a whole other place. And then I'm like, what the hell? And then there's this big giant old beetle, and bro, Wukong was special. I can't tell you how much I mean, I'm saying, like, Wukong is special. I cannot wait for my Xbox brethren to get their hands on that game. That game is fire. It is not easy, but it is fire. It is all worth the price of admission, man. It is dope. So yeah. The Redskin, that kid, he was a problem. He tore my ass up a few times too. I'm trying to think of Li Lang beat me so many times. I mean, thank goodness that it took some mental training, because in Elden Ring, the Queen of Rot decimated me, almost made me quit, and I'm not a quitter. But it almost made me quit. It almost made me quit gaming for good, because I could not beat. I was having kids move rage moments, bro. I should have streamed it. I should have, but maybe not, because I was hurt. I was hurt. I didn't break no controllers or nothing, but I was hurt. Man, it took me a week to beat what is her name? Melinda. Well, I forgot if you say her name, but it's the Queen of Rot. She punished me. And so Li Lang was the next one that punished me, but because I had the mental strength to fight, to keep fighting and to figure it out. And that's another thing too, is like different strategies for different bosses. Something that, and I had to find that out a little bit later in Wukong. That okay, so with Li Lang, you gotta stay on him, but then he goes on this crazy rampage that you just gotta kind of move around and then pick your places. I mean, that's with almost every boss in there, but Li Lang gets stupid. And so then at that point, you gotta just kind of run around. I was using a lot of my invisibility to make sure that he wasn't there. You gotta think about your stamina. It's just so many cool things within the game, man. Whoa, what's going on with you, man? Appreciate it so much. You know what I'm saying? Gamer McFly 2K. Thank you so much. For that. For the super chat. The super chat do work for folks. You know what I'm saying? That's a good Christmas gift. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Yeah, Li Lang was hard. Yeah, bro, he was amazing. He beat me, I swear, probably about a good 80 times. Because it took me until probably about like the 50th, somewhere in the 50s, where I started to realize, okay, I got to change. Because there was a few times that I got close, right? I got him into that final phase of what he was doing. But then when he went crazy, I was like, why I can't get out of this? And then I said, okay, all right. And then I had to change some things, and then I was like, okay. And then reset all of my abilities. Like I just and then just change it to where I had like different like almost all of my all the special the special like whatever those entities that you can command when you kill certain bosses. I just left them to 2. The best ones to use is the rock guy, which is the most annoying and probably the stupidest one to me, out of all of those entity things that you those entity bosses that you can command. But there's a big rock guy, and you can turn into that, and you kind of you're just nothing but a rock with legs. That shakes him to the core. So you can sit there and use that. And then the other one that I had was what was the other one? I can't think of what the other one was right now, but I know that the rock guy was more of the thing that I had to use. Yeah, what Jen said, the Xbox community is going to have to change, going to have a change of heart after the release of this on the series console. Bro, I'm telling you, people are going, you know what I'm saying? I know that there was some Xbox gamers out there trying to shit on the game because the game didn't perform well, or that, you know, it was in the 80s, and for some stupid reason that it's like, oh, games in the 80s, they're not any good until that's their PlayStation game, and then they might get nominated for Game of the Year. Stop it. Whatever. Games in the 80s are great. Just as good. And sometimes I feel like in some years, the games that's in the 80s outperform or are better than some of those games that's in the high 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it is all hindsight, of course. I mean, but man, come on. Anyway. So yeah, just Wukong is just special, man. Like, I mean, you see me fighting the boss in the background right now. You know, it's just a good game, man. It's just a really, really, really good game. It's fun. I've always been wanting for Xbox to, and I know that Xbox don't own this property. It's a multi-plat, but I've always wanted Xbox to get that type of game. Like, if you could sit there and have a Ninja Gaiden or something of that nature to bring into the fold. And I mean, Xbox is doing a really good job of bringing these games to Xbox. I mean, like I said, like, Xbox gamers is gonna love this game, man. It's really, really good, really, really good. Yeah. The room is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just game. That's it. Like, I mean, that's all it is. Like, when last night, like, there was people that was just shitting on the game because they were PlayStation fans. And I'm just kind of like, bro, what's happening here? How is this game made? Well, look at the ratings. Yeah, so I'm looking at the Metacritic, and then I'm looking at the Open Critic, and the Open Critics is giving it like an 82, 83 or something like that. But then I'm looking at the players rating, and I'm like, it's in the 90s. Like, so, I mean, so yeah, no. That's not what I'm saying. That's right there. That shows you that it's a mid game. No, that doesn't. If the players are saying that this is a good game, it's in the 90s, then that should tell you right there that the game is enjoyable. Like, that means that the game is a good game, right? If you look at reviews, if you read them off of Steam, if you read them off of the PlayStation feed or something like that, they talk about how the game may have problems on, it's according to what, like, on Steam, if what kind of hardware you have and things like that. Because, like I said, the game is really demanding, or it's not optimized properly or whatever. Like, you get those conversations, but that's the only reason why the people say that they don't really like the game is because of how the game performed. It damn sure wasn't the game itself, because if the game performed well, then people liked it. So, like, that's the situation of it. Like, I mean, it's kind of like with Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 it doesn't look like it would be demanding, but there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of stuff, that you got to do with Baldur's Gate, and so it didn't perform well on PlayStation. I think it performed a little bit better on Xbox, but still, the best place to play Baldur's Gate 3 is on the PC, so it is what it is. So, yeah, karma comes in many ways. Yeah, so again, optimizations, optimized games that gets that same work. Right, like, and again, see, that's the thing, like, Xbox, they don't want this game to come over to be, and that's one thing that I do appreciate with Xbox, and that's why I'm like, well, listen, if they feel like this game is not up to par for their fan base, for their customers, then people shouldn't be complaining about it. That was my thing, like, with the exclusivity thing or whatever, and now this kind of look a little shaky now because of the whole thing with them over here thinking that they were going to automatically win. Then I think that whole exclusivity thing, Sony was working on them a little bit, or things like that. But it is what it is, right? But they lost, they failed, and therefore, you know what? It's like it's karma. So it is what it is. You still got a fantastic game. But yeah, optimization, things like that. Like if Xbox has won these games to be perform well, and Sony's just like, man, bring them here so we can go ahead and try to sell as many consoles. I mean, listen, I think that as a gamer, you would want you go spend your hard-earned money on a game, so obviously you want that game to perform better. I mean, we've been complaining about this type of stuff for the last what 7-8 years now about games just kind of coming out early and they patch them later. And then you asking for more money for these games? Nah, man, that's just not. I look at that as a problem. So I mean, I commend Xbox for wanting these games to perform. Now, if this game still comes out late and it doesn't perform well, then okay, then that's an issue, and game science needs to be better on knowing how to use the hardware properly. So we'll see though. Like I'm looking forward to get on it. I will double dip. I've kind of gotten out of the phase of double dipping and triple dipping and buying games, but I will buy it. I will buy an Xbox version. And now, I will probably buy it later. But if it's play anywhere, then I'll buy it day one, because that's what I'm hoping that they'll do. I hope that it becomes play anywhere, and you get the best of both worlds with that. I mean, and now I'm starting to see more and more PlayStation people bring up about how they want PlayStation to do a launcher on PC and have it to be play anywhere. So have their own version of play anywhere, which I just think is just common sense. I mean, that just it's one of those things. Like, man, if I buy this game, right, you're asking me, and again, like, I'm not tripping about the $70 price tag. See, when it comes, if you're going to put, now I still haven't bought a game, a standard game at $70 yet. But if they implement Play Anywhere for $70, I think that that's worth the price. You know what I'm saying? I think that I would complain a bitch about it. I think that it would be one of those things that I would say, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But just a standard game, just dropping $70, I still don't like it. I still don't like it, and I find ways to find deals. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I kind of just just wait for the PlayStation versions of games to come over to PC. Like, I mean, just for, I mean, because there's already games that I've already bought for the PlayStation. So, I mean, it is what it is. But for these newer titles, for a lot of these newer titles, I just like, no, I'll just wait. Because I don't see the reason of me paying that and then knowing that I'm going to have the better version on PC. So I'll just wait. Like for Spider-Man 2, I'll wait. I mean, I know that it'll be $50. I'm cool with that. Y'all paid $70. That's $20 difference. I ain't you know what I'm saying? And I know the game is, you could beat the game in a weekend. So, I mean, it is what it is. But let me read this from Finn. What is that? Germans? Yeah, listen, I'm country as hell, so don't hold me. Don't hold me to the flames, because I'll be just because I'll butcher names. But thank you so much for the super chat. He said, with the PlayStation 5 Pro and PC and PC, Xbox is officially the worst place to play Xbox games. God damn. Okay, all right, man. I want to make one more point about and like, oh man, as I'm seeing my gameplay of Metaphor. Listen, man, this should if this Astrobot over Metaphor, my Astrobot over Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. What? Okay. All right. Let me stop. I'm off of it. I'm done crying over it. Thanks for the super chat though, and I'm about to get to it right now. All right. So, and I disagree with you. I think because the PlayStation Pro is not looking as impressive as some people were kind of alluding it to be, and also that PSSR isn't doing that well either. So it's one of those things where I don't know, man. It's a great technology, and it'll be great for later. But it's one of those things. It's kind of like how, like Unreal Engine 5, right? Unreal Engine 5 has these games don't I'm hearing something in the background and I'm wondering what the hell that is. That's why I'm kind of pausing. Anyway, Unreal Engine 5. Okay. Yeah, I was in here. I was like, man, do I need to go ahead and grab this case right here? Because I'm hearing something up in here moving around. Okay. All right. I was about to admit something up in here. Y'all might witness some self defense. So anyway, um, but yeah, no, um, like Unreal Engine 5, like some of the games came in and they're broken. Even with some of these games that's come out here lately, they still you can kind of tell that they're resource hogs, and they have a lot of that's why people complain about the 30 frames per second or games dip and stuff like that. I mean, we get it. That I know that this is supposed to be like a competition for DLSS, but NVIDIA's framework situation, like that stuff has been out for years, and so they have billions upon billions of gamers data. So it took time. So again, like I mean, so it's going to take time for PlayStation to catch up to speed with the PSSR. But for right now, the games just aren't looking, and it doesn't look like it's worth the $200 extra dollars, the $300 extra that you got to pay for a PlayStation Pro at this moment. If the rumors are true about PlayStation, kind of pushing PlayStation until the 2030s or something like that, before the new iteration comes, then by the PlayStation Pro will be a significant upgrade, and then by that time, hopefully, that the price will go down, and then it'll be a much more affordable and in a better device to where you can show in a better show off piece. But for right now, no, I think Xbox is doing fine without having to have a mid refresh. I think just if Xbox is going to definitely be first to bring a new console into the fold. So yeah, no, Xbox will be, and then like again, like how Xbox looks like that they're, you can play on any console and things like that. So if they do the kind of thing like you can just play your games through the Series S, Series X, and then for whatever this new console is, then you winning, and then you playing on PC and all that other stuff. Then I think PlayStation for right now is just not, the PlayStation Pro is just not impressive enough to make that point from my perspective. But I understand what you're trying to say. So especially when you trying to talk about the PC aspect of it. So let me go up here and go to JD Gamer. What's up with you, brother? I haven't talked to you in a minute. He said, Finn, he says, let me know PC gets quick resume because that's a game changer, and let me know when PlayStation gets Game Pass because that's the best deal in gaming. I mean, that is the truth right there. So, I mean, Flynn, if you wanted to comment on that, please, I definitely will respond back. You know what I'm saying? Tarnish the witch. Nah, it's not the game. he says PC does have quick resume. It's called Alt Tab. It's called Alt Tab. No, it's not the same. Alt Tab is definitely not the same. Quick resume is really, really dope. It's dope. Now, when you're playing like an on service game, or especially like if I'm playing Call of Duty or Tekken, you gotta let the game restart because once you turn your Xbox on and go and go straight to that game, it comes right there. It flips right onto the game that you was playing. So it's really cool. It's a really, really cool. And that's the thing. Like again, the things that's integrated into the Xbox. That's what makes the Xbox special, and that's why there's so many people that's complaining about the situation. So again, let me get into this last topic, and that's talking about this whole situation with Xbox and the exclusivity thing. And I seen what Jed said, and I said this on GRG Friday. I said we don't know what the hell Xbox is doing right now because I don't think that I think that they got the plan right, and I think that they're going to go with this plan for right now. But I just don't think that they fully are 100% behind it yet. I think that they're going to go for it, but I don't know if they're going to continue to keep going for it with it. And this is my whole point of this. It's like, okay, so the whole Project Latitude situation, and then you look and you see the whole, no red lines, and then Phil gets on IGN talking to I forget the guy's name right now from Unlocked, Ryan, and he's telling them, look, I mean, this is what it is. Xbox got, Game Pass. There'll be timed exclusives. Xbox will get perks, things like that. Xbox gamers will get perks, and we're going to still continue to make hardware. So, Xbox gamers is not the end of the world type thing, right? Then now here comes from Matt Booty bringing up the thing about like, well, there's still a case by case basis. While, Outer Worlds, because he brought that up too about Outer Worlds 2, and a lot of people were speculating, even me back then was like, oh man, hey, Xbox can keep Outer Worlds 2. That makes sense. I mean, they own them now. That would be a good look. And then, anyway, but now that it's going to PlayStation. I mean, you already seen the logo from PlayStation. So that's not happening with that. The one thing though, that I feel that while Matt Booty's bringing back the case by case basis, is I'm thinking this with the legacy titles. I really have a problem with that, with the thought that Halo, Gears, and Forza would be on PlayStation and Nintendo. I really do have a problem with that. I mean, I'm a legacy gamer, so I just can't phantom that. Even though that could be what's going on. I mean, the information that Jez brought up, I think it was today or yesterday or something like that, where they were saying that Xbox was upset about Hellblade being not upset about it, but they thought that it was weird. There were some people on staff I thought it was weird that Hellblade 2 was an exclusive, and they thought that it would be better if it wasn't an exclusive. And again, that we're pretty much going to see Hellblade 2 going to the PlayStation, right? And then also the other fact that that Xbox is going forward. This is what Jez is reporting, that they're going all in, going all forward, and making sure that they're going to be putting games on everywhere, and that exclusivity is pretty much done. I don't know about that, man. I agree with what Killer said, right? Like Killer wrote this long speech, and I kind of want to read a little bit of it because it made sense. It made a lot of sense. I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to read it to this point to where he said, he says, I do feel like Xbox cannot do a roundtable or business update and say things like, our fans should know this is all about delivering exclusive games to platforms for where Game Pass exists, or this is not a core change to our strategy to exclusives, when a few months later, none of that is true. This feels like a punch to the face to those who carried the platform for over 20 years. People are starting to call this out and say that they're lying. And honestly, I wouldn't go that far, which I agree with that. I wouldn't go that far either. But like he says here, I get it. And I do. I get it because as I say, like, for all of the like Outer Worlds 2, Hellblade 2, I'm pissed about that. I really was pissed about oh my goodness, well, I can't think of the name of the game, even though I really loved it. Thought it should have been nominated for Game of the Year. And now they let go of that title. So whatever. But the music, like the music game, damn, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, yeah, I just think it's one of those things, and people in the chat, you'll help me out with it. I was just like, come on, man. Like, but Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Pendulum, I'm not tripping about those games. No, I mean, Sea of Thieves has been out for years. And so again, let's just say for shits and giggles, let's just say Crackdown 3. Let's say that they update, they're giving a big update to Crackdown 3, and the multiplayer the multiplayer works, but you got to have at least 6 people to play. So anyway, but they rework the online, and they're saying, look, we'll put it on PlayStation. I ain't mad about that. I ain't going to even be mad about that. Even if they did with a game that I really loved a lot, and it's pretty much dead now, Bleeding Edge. if they said that they was going to put those games, I'm cool with those games going over to PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Now, but for me, it's so much of a give, and you're not taking back anything. Like, I mean, the rumor about the Horizon Lego game could potentially be coming to Xbox. That's great, but I'd rather have Horizon Forbidden West than Horizon Zero Dawn. Like if those type of things start coming over, and you know how PlayStation operates, they'll be slow. They'll slow play. They'll wait a couple of years or something like that. That's fine, right? But at least that's something. But if you're just giving everything, and then it's not, I do feel. I do not like it. I don't. You know, like I said, is that going to make me leave Xbox and not still remain to be an Xbox fan? No, absolutely not. But it does leave a bad taste in the mouth to where you feeling like, oh, what? So I do get this, and there's another part to this as well. He's saying that I want to read. He says, I'm highly energized by the games Xbox has cooking, right? He says their lineup is incredibly strong. I do believe they are on the right path here. I'll keep sharing my excitement for these teams and their games because it is the core. I'll be able to play all these games, and great games is everything that's all about, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's like following the acquisition of ABK, Xbox has growth pressure. I think we all get that. The way you get there is highly debatable, though. Exclusives matter, period. You don't see Netflix, Disney, or whatever working without exclusives either. I question their strategy, or at least their selection of games and the corresponding announcement strategy. Gaming is a pillar at Microsoft, and that won't change. The only question is whether the future is called Xbox or Microsoft Gaming, and that to me is the thing. So let me get back to you guys on this. High five rush. Thank you, Tarnish. High five. What's going on with you, Verge? Let me go ahead and before I keep on continuing with saying, let me get to what JD Gamer is saying. He said some people don't have the mental fortitude to think themselves out of a shallow puddle. He says, why would Microsoft give up the Xbox storefront? And it says the console by bettling Google and Apple to I think that was that begging. Oh, not begging. No, it's bettling, I guess. Google and Apple to open up their own theirs to them. See, again, and see that's what I'm saying. Like the strategy for what Xbox is doing, I get it, and it makes a lot of sense. That's why I keep saying, if Xbox would come out and I agree with what Killer Brill was saying, like, look, you got to let us know something, man. You just and I've seen a lot of people say it. I've said it too. Xbox, you got to, these mixed signals is just not working. It's just not working. It's just not working. You have to just, and Phil Spencer, when you was playing and you said what you said that day, Matt Booty shouldn't be coming out here talking about case by case basis. That's my point, is that you're giving maybe a false hope of thinking that exclusives will remain on Xbox by saying case by case basis. But then when you hear reporting from Jez, and Jez doesn't bat 1,000, and Tom Warren and them do not bat 1,000. They have been wrong. You know, Jez was saying just last year that Xbox was still going to remain the keeps exclusives, and then now here we go where Xbox is giving out the full slate. So like I said, the media don't fully know. I don't even think Xbox fully knows yet what they want to do. I think that they have an idea. There's these slate of games that's going to go, but I think once we get to Fable and other games like that, I think that it's going to be a real tug of war there of where, like, come on, man. PlayStation and Nintendo don't give their top-notch legacy titles to anyone else except for PC. And I think that there might be a tug of war. I really do think that they will. Now, again, you know, Microsoft is real big on analytics and data research and stuff like that. And this is probably why they're making the move. And it's a smart move. But I like I said, the 20, 30, hell, 10%, 10 to 30% of Xbox games should still remain exclusive on Xbox. Like I said, I've gone from where I said 40%, so now I've gone down to 10%. Like, I'm over here bleeding right now. Come on, guys. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, does it ruin my life? No. I'll be absolutely fine. I'll be playing. These games are going to be on Game Pass. These games are going to be on the infrastructure that I like the best. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and you got Play Anywhere. You got all these other options. So it's not going to ruin my life. That see if that game is going to come on PlayStation. You'll have some PlayStation fans talk shit, and they won't buy the game anyway, unless it's something like a Halo or Forza. They'll buy the hell out of Forza. That's going to be a certain, but. It just wouldn't make sense if that PlayStation fans or Nintendo fans would get Forza and Xbox does not get a Mario Kart or a Gran Turismo. I think PlayStation is probably working on another MotorStorm. So I mean, those are the things right there that I feel that if there's a give and take, like okay, Helldiver, we'll give you Helldivers 2. And you give us, these slates of games, South by Midnight, and Perfect Dark. You know what I'm saying? And like even with Perfect Dark, I'm kind of looking at it like, man, don't do that. Don't do that. But I mean, who knows, right? Like, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm getting to the point to where I'm kind of in that phase of what is it? It's the 7 phases and the 7 degrees of whatever and acceptance. I'm kind of at that point of acceptance. I think that's the last one because I mean you're at the point where you get mad, you get angry, and then you're depressed, and then you kind of get to that point. It's like, damn. I mean, there's nothing. Microsoft is going to do what they're going to do. Xbox, they're going to do what they're going to do. So if they make that decision, yeah. I mean, I don't want to hear from anybody that tells I'm leaving Xbox because I mean, if you have a library of 100 plus games and you're talking about, well, I'm done with Xbox, then okay, you just wasting money. That's what I'm saying. Like I got over 1,000 games on Xbox. There's no way I'm going anywhere. It's just the fact that I mean, I just don't like I don't like the strategy, and a lot of people don't like the strategy, but. I mean, and I think that's what Xbox is banking on is like, hey, I mean, if there's a lot of people that has a lot of games in our ecosystem, they're not going to leave. But there was also another point that Killer Brill brought that I thought that was spot on was that, look, you do diminish the Xbox brand, the console brand. Because when you look and you have some, let's say, Blade, right? That's going to be produced, or it's going to be, Xbox is going to spend the money to have Blade developed from one of their studios. And let's say Blade goes over to Blade does go to PlayStation, right? Like it's not an exclusive. It might be a timed exclusive, but it's not an exclusive. Well, PlayStation gamers will also have Wolverine, Marvel Rivals, you know what I mean, and Spider-Man. And that's what I'm saying. That right there is what will draw people to a PlayStation console, right? Like, I mean, that's just common sense, right? Like, you know that. And I mean, that's me. I'm just going to wait for the PC versions for Wolverine and for the next Spider-Man and for X-Men and stuff like that. So that's the stuff right there what I'm talking about is, and the only way that Spider-Man will ever become a multi-plat is if Disney buys them. And that was something me and Callie Rex was talking about within the situation, was talking about in the DMs. Because the whole movie rights situation and, the Spider-Man, Sony is now, I think they're done with the Sinister Stick stuff because none of these movies is even hitting. And so, and then like Disney's watching them because also, and then and stuff from these movie insiders and stuff, they're talking about the next Spider-Man script, they're behind, and between their agreements, Sony can't be behind, because all this stuff is placed for what's going on with the MCU. And so that's fucking with Disney's money, right? So if Sony's over here not doing that, then they breach contract. And so that's what I was trying to explain. Like there's a lot more stuff going on here because Disney is really trying to put trying to flex on, I mean, not flex, but trying to really put some pressure on Sony, while Sony has kind of been in the driver's seat for a little while. But I think because of the lack of success with the Sinister Six and the vision that they're trying to do, I think that, like, I don't know, like, and so there's been rumors of this and that and the third. Like, there was one rumor that I posted that was debunked about that they was thinking about selling the Spider-Man franchise back to, or the movie rights, I should say, because Disney owns everything else Spider-Man except for the movie rights. We'll see. I don't know. I just think that, I mean, that got debunked, but the other stuff that they've been saying, none of that stuff yet's got debunked from listening from insiders. I mean, I just pay attention to it. We'll see what's going on. But there's going back to the point of where I'm saying with the Xbox is that's where the Xbox console does seem like it does get diminished, because when you still have those PlayStation walling off games, and then you have like a situation like when you have with a game like Wukong, or a game like Stellar Blade, or the Final Fantasies and stuff like that, while PlayStation is still playing this game, Xbox doesn't seem like that the Xbox is going for the win. There's no question for that. Like, Xbox is like, oh, we got a new strategy. This strategy is here to win, not to sit here and play. Let's hold on to this console generation BS, because it's eventually going to turn into the record. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's just the reality of it. Like, I mean, good luck with the new consoles going forward having disk drives, because now if you've been paying attention, the DVDs and Blu-ray players, they're discontinued now. The only ones that's left is the ones that's in stock, and once they're gone, that's it. So if they're discontinuing disc drives, good luck with the new consoles having one. So, I mean, it's a new time, a new era with all this stuff. It is just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Flynn, he says, thank you so much. He says, Jez saying possibly all Xbox games day one on PlayStation 5. I think that's inaccurate. Not what you're saying. I think what Jez is saying, that's inaccurate. But let me keep reading that. He said, Phil lying, going back on his word multiple times. Are we sure next gen Xbox hardware? Oh, what was that? Okay, I don't know what that was. Anyway, it said, let me go back to that. Sorry, my PC acted up for some reason, or this app or something. I don't know. But he says, Phil's line, going back on his word multiple times. Are we sure next gen Xbox hardware is happening? I have my doubts. The sale projections can't be good. No, they've been adamant that there's new hardware, and they're saying that there's hardware after this hardware that comes out. So, and from everybody that I've talked to from the inside says that, I mean, we know that the hardware is coming. After that, I don't know. They still say that they are, but, like, again, they pivot. So again, like, I don't agree with the fact that if Jez said that they're coming to PlayStation day one. No, not all those games. Halo, Gears, and Forza is not coming on PlayStation day one. They may still come to PlayStation, but they're not coming day one. That's too much of a slap in the face to the Xbox gamers. Like, I mean, that would be one of those things that's kind of like, okay, you want to maximize the most money, this, but you still want to generate sales for your console. So, I mean, it's just no different how Sony operates. Sony just takes their time with it. So Xbox will probably be a little bit quicker than what Sony is about that. But no, I mean, case in point, look at Starfield, right? Like, Starfield was supposed to already been on PlayStation by now. It still isn't. A year later, over a year later, it's been a year and a half now. So, will it eventually come? Yeah. So, like, if Xbox, let's say, holds off on Starfield for 2-3 years, I don't think we're going to care too much about that. I think that if that's the case by case basis, and if Xbox is going to do Project Latitude, No Red Lines, and they hold off like the next Gears, the next Forza, the next Halo for 2 to 3 years, I mean, it still will be a problem. Yeah, over it'll still be a problem, but it ain't gonna be that big of a problem. But day one, oh my God, day one, yeah, there will be a lot of people pissed off. There will be it would be a nasty day. It will be a nasty day. The day that those games, all Xbox games go to PlayStation day one, it lands on Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo and PlayStation and PC all at the same time. That to me that's a losing strategy. That's a losing strategy for your legacy titles, in my opinion. Because sure, you would get more bang for your dollar, but but what's coming out on PlayStation and Nintendo that's around that time? Because remember, if a Halo is going to be coming out and a Gear is going to be coming out, those are going to be coming out at the end of the year. And at the end of the year, those are other games that's going to be coming out that's going to be on PlayStation and Nintendo and PC that people are going to, well, not so much PC, but Nintendo and PlayStation that they're going to have their eyes on, right? So let's just say that Halo drops, right? In October. Well, let's say PlayStation decides that they're going to drop a God of War in October. Or Nintendo's going to drop a new Zelda in October or a new whatever, you know what I'm saying, a new Metroid or something in October. Well, Nintendo fans are going to buy the Nintendo game, going to buy Metroid first, and PlayStation gamers are going to buy the God of War first. And so if this also is thinking about this as well too, because let's just say they go in different dates, right? All right, that's fine, but they're still within the same month. And gamers, us maniacs, yeah, we'll buy both games within the same month, but most people don't do that. Most people will pay for that, because don't forget, Call of Duty is going to be dropping there too. It's going to be dropping in October, right? So you got Call of Duty that's going to be dropping in October. That's going to be $70, $70 to $100, and then let's say that God of War is dropping out there in October as well. So that's two games. That's $170, right? $170. They're not buying Halo. They're not buying Halo day one. So if Xbox did something like that, it would be asinine in my opinion. It would be a problem because let's just say that this Halo looks fantastic, and it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful, and it really got a good buzz. And you announced that it's on PlayStation day one, it's on Nintendo day one. Well, that's not going to boost up any Xbox sales. And maybe they don't care, but I mean, I think if they're going to still keep producing Xboxes, they do care enough to where that they want to have at least the same type of numbers that they do with the Series S and the Series X. So yeah, I can't co-sign that one. I don't believe that one. I don't believe it's going to be day one. Now, certain games like Doom and stuff like that, yes, that makes sense, but not the legacy titles. Let me go here to JD. Appreciate it again. Appreciate you guys with the super chats. He said I wouldn't be worried about Xbox hardware right now because 2025 good games make people buy hardware. Just look at the college football did and GTA 6, baby. Yeah, no. And that's the same. I get all that. Like, I mean, Xbox is going to bring their new hardware first. They were saying that it's coming out in 2026, so between 2026, 2028. That's fine. I'm not tripping about that. Like, I mean, I play my games on PC. I play my games on the Xbox. It's just according to how I feel or what I want or what it is that I'm going to play. If it's something like Call of Duty or college football or something like that, I'm playing it on my Xbox. If it's a storied game like Indiana Jones, I'll sit there and I'll start it off on the Xbox, but then I'll probably most likely move it over to my PC because I know that I got a more capable rig, so it's going to look better, it's going to perform better, all that type of stuff. So it's just according to what it is. Now, other games like, okay, for instance, let's say 100 Heroes, or it was called something else, not just 100 Heroes, but Tales of Arise or Metaphor. I play Metaphor on my Xbox. I booted it up and to seeing what it looked like on my PC. And I was like, oh, it looks good, whatever. But see, a game like that, like I was fine playing it on playing it on Xbox, and Tales of Arise played it on my Xbox, played it all the way through. So that's what I'm saying. Like games like that, it is what it is. But if it's those strong, heavy demanding games that graphic demanding games like Dragon Age or something like that or whatever, then I'm most likely going to probably play it. I want to make it run. I want to see how it runs on my Xbox, and then record some gameplay and then do a comparison. But yeah, no, I'm mostly likely going to probably play it on my PC, especially if it's a Play Anywhere title. So I think that's just that's why I built the PC for. So but you're absolutely right. Like these games, Grand Theft Auto is going to sell consoles. It is, and that's what. And I don't know who has the marketing rights. Most likely, it probably will be Sony. They'll have the marketing rights for that. I would think if I was Microsoft, I would just say, look, man, I would get those marketing rights, but I think Sony's going to have those marketing rights to Grand Theft Auto, just because they have been, but. Yeah, that's going to sell consoles regardless. And then like college football, Madden, NBA 2K, those games, soccer, those games sell consoles. But but like for the legacy titles, man, I just don't. Yeah, it would give me a headache. It would give me a headache. It would definitely give me a headache. Viper in the chat saying, I think Microsoft should release their games 5 years later on PlayStation. Let them suckers wait the same way that Sony wants Xbox players to wait on their timed exclusives on. So that's my thing. Like, let them wait. Like if Starfield eventually goes to PlayStation and we're talking about 2-3 years later, ain't nobody tripping. I mean, there will still be those that will still be mad about it, but I'm not tripping about that. So if you decide to where everything is going over and you wait 2 to 3 years, I don't want the legacy titles, but if they do, 2-3 years, okay, all right, that's fine. That I can accept that more than that day one. You know what I'm saying? Like Flynn got me over here stressing. So anyway, next phase is in here. He's saying they're over here having a discussion with JD. He says Xbox really seems to take their supporters for granted. If they think they can put their content on rival platforms and think we won't eventually move to other platforms where the gamers get more content. That's where we're at, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I have to agree. It does come out and it does come off to be as you're taking the people like Killer Brill said, people that has been holding down Xbox for the last 20 years for granted. That's thinking that, well, because we're offering you Game Pass, that's enough. And for a lot of us, it is. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, because, it just, I don't know. My only thing with this is that, like, if you got Xbox got way more incentives than what PlayStation has, right? Which makes it a much more of it's just much more of a better place to play your games at, in my opinion. But it does mean something to a gamer when you look and you see that if you got the X-Men, you got Wolverine, then you're going to give them Halo, Gears, Forza, Sea of Thieves, Starfield, Hellblade, South of Midnight, Doom, COD. Like it's almost kind of like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's where the vibe goes to where you like what Next Phase is saying. Like, it just feels like you're taking us for granted by just assuming because you're going with data. Like, you have to put the data. Yeah, that can show you a lot. The analytics can show you a lot, but that's the same reason of why, like, the NBA is going through their decline in views right now. It's because they're doing what baseball did a decade ago by going by nothing but data and analytics, and it didn't work and it made people less interested in the game. Now, again, I love the NBA. It's my favorite sport out of all of it. But yeah, it is the truth. Like, other than my Thunder and a few other teams, they all kind of look and play the same because they're going by the analytics by shooting all these threes and not having enough and not showing all of their athletic ability. Like, you know, like when you have John Morant coming out and saying, well, I'm not gonna dunk anymore. Or if you got like I was watching the game last night and I was watching it was San Antonio against the T Wolves, and you got one of the best dunkers in the game on the T Wolves, and he breaks Wimmy down and could take it to the cup and rack it, but he breaks Wimmy down, backs up and shoots a three. Like, oh, come on. So I feel that. I get that. And I mean, it's no question that these players are much more have a lot more ability when it comes to their shooting and all that. But it's the same thing. And that's where I say, like, look, the passion of it, you got to put the human element behind it. So again, it's the same reason with what's going on with Xbox is that, yeah, you're looking at the analytics and the data, but you got to put in the personal side of it because people that are Xbox fans really, truly, and definitely think that it's important that the reason why they supported this brand is that, you know, look, there are certain things that was about this brand that made it special, made it a part of why they are an Xbox fan. And if you take that away, if you take it all away, then it does come off to seem like it's just not, you know, it's a problem. So I definitely agree with that to a degree. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Again, like I'm not going anywhere, but I do, it's not, like I said, it's not going to ruin my day, but it will make me understand why there will be people that will say, look, you know what? I'm just going to get a PC and I'm just going to just be there and I'm cool. And then when they don't buy an Xbox, then what then? Right. And so I think the analytics can work for so far, but not it can't be all the way used as this is it, this is how it's supposed to be, and everything else, who cares? You know what I mean? So, oh man, all right. So let's see what it says. Depends what their ultimate goal is. Sell consoles, sell subscriptions, or just go everywhere for money. I think it's a little bit of both, man. I really do. I think Back from the Dead. I think that's what it is that it's about the money. There's no question. And I think that the money hats is definitely on their back about, you know, for that $74 billion deal. Right. And so maybe that's what I'm saying. Like we don't know. And maybe that's when a tug of war happens. And then once they get that money back, maybe that the money hats will back off. But if the money is too good, then it might be too late, and then you can't change, it can't back up because I mean, if you're making, because again, Xbox is going for this win. They're not trying to be cute with it. The console war is over, right? Like I've said that, and that's exactly what's happening. The console war is over. So, it's just a different game now. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. We'll see what's going on. I don't know. I mean, I usually am more optimistic, but on this one, I don't know, man. I think the writing is on the wall, but I'm not going to go out here and try to say, well, I'm done with Xbox and all that stupid shit. Because I get annoyed when people say that. They jump one minute that they don't like Xbox, and the next minute they jump with Xbox and all that. No. I ain't gonna. I'm an Xbox dude, always will be. And so, you know, as long as Xbox is still being produced and made and providing content, I'm an Xbox guy. You know what I'm saying? The ecosystem's there, all that. I'm with it. JD, he says, many Xbox and industry guys have PlayStation envy, and all they want is the Xbox to be a better PlayStation, and that's not what Microsoft is doing. They chose the NIN route. They're going to do their own thing, good games and hardware. And you know what, JD, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, again, we always say that we don't want the same thing from these consoles. We don't want Nintendo to be like PlayStation. We don't want PlayStation to be like Xbox, vice versa, right? Xbox has always been first at doing this stuff. Like, so, and are they doing it too early? I mean, but when is the right time, right? Like, I mean, they knew that the gamers were going to be pissed off, especially the gamers on social media. Like Xbox, they knew Xbox gamers were going to be highly pissed, right? So again, we're in that position of where we're just kind of like, all right, we just got to wait and see. But you make a lot of great points because it is about the games and it is about the hardware. What some people will argue, though, is like now that the games are starting to flow, why we can't get an opportunity to enjoy that moment for a little while before you make this pivot. Case in point, like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is really good. It wasn't even on my radar like that. I knew I was going to play it because it was in Game Pass. But I was like, I don't know how much, and I really do enjoy it. I think it's a really good game. And if all Xbox gamers really wanted was just to have that moment of saying, you know what, that's all right, throw the little bragging, like PlayStation, you wish you had this, blah blah blah, and then 6 months later, or on a PlayStation event or something like that, they announce it like in March, May that it's coming at the end of the year or something like that. I did have a big problem. Big problem. And and it made me not even watch Gamescom. I didn't even, after I seen that announcement where they were talking about Indiana Jones, and then they came out and paraded it that was coming on PlayStation, I didn't even watch the rest of it. I didn't watch anything Xbox related when it came to a Gamescom. I didn't even watch that Gamescom. I said, what? What you running up under PlayStation's ass like that to sit there? Man, no, come on, man. Don't do this. Don't do that. I got frustrated. I did get frustrated on that one. And then I was just like, I didn't even watch. I couldn't tell you anything for Gamescom except for that. And maybe there was another game that I may have seen that was on a video or something, or like a trailer or something, and that was it. So stuff like that is where I'm kind of like, let the Xbox gamers enjoy the moment for a little while. You know what I mean? And because the media is going to do the media thing for Sony, and Xbox don't have to give them extra ammunition for it. Because then what the media will do is praise Xbox for doing this, but then at the same time slam Xbox for doing this and make their fan base even more pissed off because of these crazy moves. So you see what I'm saying? Like, if you had it to where the media would have already, is it going to come to PlayStation? Is it going to? They would have did all the asking and wanting, and then like, look, all the Xbox staff had to do and say was like, look, man, this is for Xbox gamers. It's going to be on Game Pass. We want people to sit here and experience this game on Xbox, and that's it. And that's it. And that's it. Because the media is going to keep asking the question over and over and over again, each month, each time, even when the game comes out and released, just like they did with just like what they do with Starfield, right? Xbox didn't need to hurry up and let them know. So, I just thought that was that did piss me off. So, excuse me, JD. JD says what K Mega just said about Indiana Jones is 100% how I felt. Why would I support a brand that is actively showing you that their console owners will get less content? Now, you know what I'm saying? That pissed me off. Like so yeah. And that's the thing to me, is like, if they're going to do the Halos, the Gears and the Forzas and all that, make them wait. And don't be early on telling them that you're going to get this too, PlayStation. The media is going to do that for them. So, so the media is going to dig and ask and speculate for them. So Xbox should just keep it quiet, because PlayStation is real good at that. They don't say shit. You never know when one of these games will ever come. And when these games do come out, PlayStation don't ever give you that information. And then when the media, like Kena, that was so weak. The media should, if Kena was an Xbox exclusive, right? You would have seen headlines and articles all over the place that Kena was coming to PlayStation. You got barely get any type of information that Kena was coming to Xbox and was coming. And I think Kena's on Game Pass, right? It might be on Game Pass. It might be, it might not be. I can't remember, but really good game. So beautiful game too. But again, weak. Just didn't say Sifu. Nobody didn't even know it was Sifu was on Xbox. Like I was playing it, and it was a Play Anywhere title. And somebody was like, "Oh man, you playing that on PlayStation?" I said, "No, I'm playing it on Xbox." When did it come on Xbox? I said it came out about like 6 months ago. They didn't know. And see, that's the thing. Like the media does what it does for PlayStation, and it does what it does for Xbox in the sense of always doing what it does. Xbox doesn't need to give the media or PlayStation a high five when they do what they do. Just let the Xbox gamers feel a little bit better about the situation. Fahim said, fair point, JD. So JD is saying, he says, next fave, over 95% of the PlayStation and Xbox libraries are identical. He says there actually very little difference in there. While a title here and there, if anything, Xbox owners will be getting more content than ever. Now, again, Xbox is getting more content than we've ever had, right? Like, I mean, the Yakuzas, the Personas. Now we got the Metaphor franchise. There's tons of games that Xbox has that was only exclusive on PlayStation. The Guilty Gears and so forth and so forth. So like, and I think going forward, like you'll start seeing the Grand Blue fighters and RPGs and stuff like that. I think that those things will eventually start happening. Like, I mean, Final Fantasy Online, finally on Xbox, right? It's just one of those things to me that Xbox has done a very good job of bringing this stuff in. The media, of course, doesn't give the props that Xbox deserves properly, but Xbox has way more content than what it did. That part is true. That is a definite truth there, JD. So apparently Horizon Lego is coming to Xbox. Yeah, I know. I've seen that. And like I said, I'd rather have Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn instead of the Lego game. But I guess it's a start, right? Like, I mean, if this is the type of thing that will happen, give us the Lego game and let's see if those negotiations are true about them getting Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox. That'll be great too. But again, we'll see. All right, guys, I have talked for an hour and a half. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I think that we've established enough on this show. But I will be back here later on in the week. I am going to be doing some streaming. Supposed to be doing Fight Night. I've been saying that I'm doing it. My daughter came with her boyfriend, wanted to hang out, and I'm like, oh my God. So maybe what I probably might do is change Fight Night to another night, and then just record me playing on a Sunday or something like that, and then just post it of what I'm doing, because something's always come up here for the last couple of Sundays to where I haven't been able to play the internet last week. Then my kids coming over here, the kids coming over last night. So again, I might have to just change the night of when I will put what I'll do Fight Night. And like I said, I'll have all that stuff ironed out and posted of when because I am going to start a new podcast here in 2025. The last GRG was Friday. I hope you guys will come and check that out. It was really fun. But I am going to start a new podcast coming in 2025. But my schedule of me streaming and all types of stuff, I'll be putting this up here. And all that stuff too. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere. It's just that I just put the clamps on the GRG podcast and gave it the proper send off. But yeah, we're going to be doing more of this type of stuff, and I'm always going to be keeping doing this, talking gaming content and stuff like that. So hope you guys continue to follow and stuff like that. If you have not subscribed, please do. Follow me on Twitter X. Follow me on Blue Sky, KMega45, on TikTok as well, and on Twitch. So what I'm saying, I'm live. I'm going to be going live pretty much a lot of places, and really kicking it in gear going into 2025 after I come back from this vacation. So hope you guys really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you guys for that. Let me go ahead and read this this poll right here, it says, I said, will Xbox, let's get to it. I says, will Xbox keep any Xbox games exclusive? And 63% of you said yes, and 36% of you said no. So there's still plenty of you guys that has the faith into the Xbox brand and holding on to dear life. So let's see. I hope there's some Xbox execs listening, and I hope you guys take this to heart, because there was a lot of great points that was made for sure in the chat. So thank you guys. I will see you here later on in the week. Everybody have a good one. Peace.